Hello everybody, and welcome back to Silverstone. I didn't almost forget the name of the game. You can't prove anything. We're fine. We met up with our friend Jake at the airport. We picked him up, we threw him into the car, we ate his breakfast sandwich like the gremlin that we are, and now we are on our way to go see our other friends in that town we grew up in, I guess. That's what we're doing. We're just a little guy hanging out with our friends. Yep, signal's dead. Mine too. I tossed my phone into my lap and let out a deep groan. I should have expected the signal to get worse as we go, but it still feels a bit early for it to drop. Won't we be needing this? Won't be needing this anymore then? Excuse me. Kelsey slides her phone back into her pocket, closing her map apps while doing so. Not that she needs it for much longer anyway, since we're about 10 minutes out from our destination. Ah, so now that we're in town, we no longer have cell signal. We probably have cell signal in the town itself, probably. But if we don't, it'll be a horror movie situation, and I can't wait for us to just walk into our motel room and a guy jumps out with a chainsaw and kills us because we ate that sandwich at the start. Along the way, we pass by where we'll be staying. Silverstone's hotel are all poorly kept, and some don't even answer Jake when he calls to make reservations. When he called to make reservations, sorry. We decided a small motel, a bit out of the way, would be fine to stay in. Hey, what's the name of the pizza place we're picking them up at? I contort my body to look at Jake, who's made himself more than comfortable in the back seat. His feet is plastered onto the window, and he's playing a shitty puzzle game on his phone. Giovanna's? That's what that says, right? Giovanna's. I wait for him to finish his sentence, but he lingers for quite a bit. He violently taps his phone and looks up at me. Or something like that. He smiles before proudly showing me his completed puzzle. I snicker, shoving my hand in his face. Yeah, I'm proud of you. A burst of light shines through the window as the trees begin to clear. Jake covers his face with his arm, taking the brunt of it. Okay. I sit back up and look out Kelsey's window, taking a big gulp. We're almost there. The desolate town looks like a stain on an otherwise lively coastal area. Even for the roadside cliff, I can see windows boarded up and paint chipped on the side of the houses. You nervous? It'd be weirder if I wasn't. The car dips back into the trees as we continue down the cliff and onto flat land, and Jake almost falls off of his seat as the road becomes unsteady. The sound of the ocean waves, the ocean water starts to fumble from the outside. Its increasing volume brings me back to the dream from last night. My stomach begins to churn for the mixture of hyponic? Hypnotic. Hypnotic. Why did I switch those letters? I don't know, man. My brain just doesn't work. It just doesn't. It looks at letters and goes like... It's like this now. The hypnotic waves and the bumps in the road. I close my eyes for a moment, but it isn't long before I can feel the vehicle slowing as we exit the forest route, sorry. The road begins to smooth out, although not by much. The tossing and turning grows less frequent, and I can hear the wheels creep along the pavement. The lack of voices from outside unsettles me, but it isn't surprising. At least it makes it easier for us to find the others. I jump as I hear Kelsey turn the engine off and feel a hand tap on my shoulder. We're here, man. Oh, look at this place. I take a huge stretch as I exit the car, taking out my phone to double check the signal. Sure enough, still dead. Jake hops out of the SUV behind me and lets out a giant yawn, pulling out his own phone and squinting at it due to the sunlight. Despite the rather dour state of the town itself, the sky is a deep blue and the sun is as bright as ever. The sun isn't enough to stop the cold air, though, and I let out an audible shiver as I try to warm myself up. Kelsey unties the jacket around her waist and slides it on, on before locking her car and scouting the town. A chameleon and a ferret, both older residents of the town, walk by us as we search for the pizza place. Excuse me, can you tell us where Giovanna's is? The chameleon turns to us for a brief moment and shoots us a sneer before the ferret grabs him to pick up the pace. Didn't miss that. We continue to walk for a bit, though at this point I'm just taking in the sights of the town. Some buildings are near identical to the day we left, while others are shells of their former selves. I point at an old yellow building that's covered in graffiti and rotten window boards. It's all lawn overgrown with weeds and fungi. Didn't that used to be Mrs. Abernathy's home? Oh yeah, I forgot about her. Didn't she stay after the Exodus? That's what my mom told me, but Miss Abernathy was already pretty old by then. It wouldn't be surprised if she was just going with the flow. She had a son, though, right? Jake just shrugs while Kelsey looks around the corner. Her face glows as she looks back at us. Found them. The two disappears behind the hobby shop and turns at the turn, and Jake follows suit. I shake my hands, anxious for the six of us to finally meet. Steeling myself, I join the two as we enter the tourist district of the town. Cool. Who are these fellas? Look at... Damn. This man's a happy guy. You're here too, friend. But look at this happy guy. Now, wait a minute. I'm not easy. You all are easy. It doesn't take long to identify them. The three of us standing right under the sign to the pizza place, which looks closed. Mason is vigorously tapping his foot as he holds his phone up to his head. June is sitting on the sidewalk, reading a novel of some kind, and Silas is leaning up against Mason's truck. Which one is who? Wait a minute. I don't know which one it is. It you? Are you Silas? I don't know, man. I told you, there's no signal. They'll find us, though. I know, but... Before he can finish the sentence, my old stepbrother notices us coming their way. His trademark smile appears, and he almost drops his phone as he tries to put it in his pocket, running toward me specifically. It isn't even 5 seconds before I'm buried in a hug. His laughter fills the air as he catches me. I look over his shoulder, and Silas and June, who each have very different reactions. June's eyes widen, full of anxiety rather than joy. He pulls his beanie down a bit as to avert his gaze. It only makes me question even more why he would come here. Silas has his own nervous look, but he looks more flustered than worried. As soon as he sees me looking at him, his eyes dart to the sidewalk, and I can't help but laugh a bit. Mason finally releases me from his grasp, and he gives Jake a high five before patting Chelsea's shoulder, which he reluctantly allows. Holy moly! You're actually here! The big dog laughs to himself, his tail wagging something furious. The nervousness I had before melting away at this sight, and I find myself joining in. Good to see you, man! Hey, June, Silas. I turn to the badger and the bear, hoping an introduction will break their worries down a bit. Hey, Zeke. The bear gives me a wave, but June pulls his beanie down, back up a bit. He looks up at me with a bit of guilt, but some happiness all the same. Hey. Did it take you long to find us? Not that long, actually. We arrived just a few minutes ago. How long have you all been here? Mason's smile quickly vanishes, turning into an annoyed grimace as he looks back to the pizza place behind him. A bit too long, if you ask me. They're open. We've been waiting here for a while. 30 minutes or less, my ass! Jake and I peer through the window, though I try at least to be more sneaky about it. Sure enough, there are chefs inside making pizza. Well, one is smoking a cigarette on a line. My hunger dissipates just a little. I guess their open sign burned out or something. Mason's smile returns, and his attention shifts back to the group, his hands firmly at his side. We headed back to the motel after the pizza's done. Whose room are we eating in? I don't want crumbs in my bed. That shit is nasty. Actually, I noticed there's a pool outside. It's not as cold there, and there's barely anyone parked outside, so they probably won't mind if we eat there. I like a girl who lives dangerously, Kels. Mason's joke falls flat on his face. June looks away in secondhand embarrassment, and I almost do the same. Before I can, however, the door to the pizzeria opens, and a short Martin comes out with 2 pizza boxes. He shoves them into Mason's arms, and Silas gives him what looks like 2 $20 bills. I shiver internally, but I guess it's hard making money in a town like this. Before anyone can say anything to the Martin, he slams the door shut, leaving the 6 of us awkwardly standing in the middle of the sidewalk. Jake clears his throat. Look how small he is. I was thinking last part that, he's a bit short compared to, the UI and stuff, but now I know why. We have these 2 big boys here. Jake clears his throat, bringing the others and myself back down to reality. Should we go check in now? Oh, yeah. Oh, we'll catch you. We'll catch you all there. The drive back to the motel isn't nearly as bad as the drive to Silverstone. Although the road is just as bumpy and the waves are just as loud, I think the anxiety of arriving just got the better of me then. Mason, Silas, and June have already arrived by the time we get there. Unlike Kelsey, Mason is a more reckless driver. I see June fiddling with his phone, and he sits halfway in the truck. My guess is that he's trying to log into the motel's Wi-Fi. We pull into the parking lot, and I lean inward as Kelsey stops onto the uneven ground, a better spot than the one full of potholes next to us. By the time I step out of the car, I'm ready to get out of my clothes and crawl into bed. The sun still shines bright, and I'm dead tired from the trip. Mason bounces up to us with glee in his eyes. He slaps his hands on my shoulders a bit too hard and points over to the reception. How about you, Jake? And I get everyone checked in while the others unload the stuff. I glance at June, who seems just as confused as I am. Didn't June help make the reservations, though? I don't mind unloading some stuff. Mason's ears droop, and he gives me those pitiful eyes he used on me as a kid when he wanted something. Before he's able to trap me in guilt, June walks on over and hands Mason his cell phone. It's fine, Zeke. I can handle a few bags. The Badger's expression is still depressed, and I can't help but feel bad as he walks away. Mason pulls me away from my thoughts as he grasps my hand and practically yanks me to the building. Any harder, and I swear that he will dislocate my arm. Come on, let's check in so we can eat. I can't help but smile, however, once I see my baby brother's exuberance shine through for the first time in a long while. The reception desk is a stark contrast from the outside. The light above is barely hanging on, and somehow there are more bugs inside than on the pavement. I almost shudder just thinking about how dirty our beds could be, but stop myself short once I see the rat running the desk. The denim of the cut-off flannel sends alarm bells ringing in my head. But he doesn't seem to notice us at first, his nose buried deep in his newspaper. They have newspapers? I want to dip out while I still can, but Mason has already reached the front desk before Jake can even enter the building. The raccoon's expression is just as unimpressed and wary as me, as if he's thinking about whether he should go out and tell the others we're staying somewhere else. Mason's booming voice seals our fate, however. Hey, we're here to check in. Jacob Riley and... wait, what? Look, I don't know, man. Look, I don't know. I'm an uncultured American. The dog's face contorts as he struggles to say June's name as if it were his own. As the rat looks up at Mason, I swear I see slime glide across his yellow eyes as they move. Jake looks down at the cigarettes for a second in disgust, before taking another puff. I contemplate batting it out of his hand. The rat sits up, folding his newspaper with a monumental sigh. He looks at the email on June's phone before beckoning Jake over. Yeah, I saw your friend out there. As the rat brings up the reservation on the computer, he turns his attention to me. Never met a quiet one of you before. I'm sorry? The rat hands the keys to Mason and Jake before returning to his newspaper, lighting another cigarette as he slouches in his chair. Your kind is usually loud as shit. The three of us stand there with various emotions. Mason looks mostly confused, his arms crossed as he plays with his room keys. Jake actually looks pissed, as if he's about to punch the guy right in the throat. Do it already, it'll be funny. There's no one around that'll stop you, or report you. I let out a small laugh before uncomfortably shuffling my way out of the reception. My eyes descend to the ground as I walk out into the parking lot, anxiously toying with my necklace. I nearly bump into Silas before he stops me in my tracks. The bear is somehow carrying 2 suitcases as well as a backpack on his own. Whoa, you alright? The bear's voice is soft and quiet. It's more comical when you actually take a look at the guy. I take his hands off of me and shove my own into his pockets. What? Okay. Try not to let my anxiety show. It's nothing. No need to worry. The owner is a racist prick. And Jake comes stomping behind me, throwing the cigarette to the ground and taking his anger out on it. You're kind. I want to vomit. It's fine, Jake. We'll barely see him anyway. The raccoon doesn't meet my gaze. He's practically fuming from the rat's remarks. Although I'm happy he's coming to my defense, the one thing I don't miss about Jake was his temper. Just come to me if he does cause some problems, okay? Like you could hurt him, Silas. Silas blushes before turning away and walking off to one of the motel doors. Although he's the biggest one out of us, Chelsea's right. He's never been one to resort to violence. That's what the small one is for. The sentiment cheers me up a little, though, imagining the big glug trying to deck the rat. Mason finally joins us, massaging the back of his neck. It's a bit hard to tell, but I can see his fur is a bit damp from sweat. So, how are we divvying up the rooms? It seems like he's just going to avoid the topic, probably for the best now. June's appearance nearly makes me jump as he comes out from behind the other side of the truck. He plucks his phone out of Mason's hand before he points to the luggage. Your stuff is with Zeke and Jake's. Kelsey, Silas and I will be next door if you need us. Chelsea's nose scrunches up for a moment before she walks over to the trio's room to put her bags away. Jake taps his finger on my shoulder. He's noticeably calmer, but not by much. The new cigarette he's holding is probably doing the trick. Let's check out the pool, man. Before I can even answer, the raccoon has already collected one of the pizzas and is heading off toward the gate. What? Jake? I end up grabbing the other pizza box as I run. My feet propelled me to the pool. God, I just want to go to fucking sleep. Okay, but that looks like a very nice pool area for a motel like that. I'm just saying. Looks nice. It looks nice. I stare at a torn off piece of moldy crust as I let my feet soak in the water. June, who's standing next to me, looks at his own slice of pizza before setting it down on one of the tables nearby. Jake and Mason ate their slices slices no problem, but it's amusing to see Kelsey and Silas struggle on what parts they think are safe to eat. That's what those two are like, okay. I mean, I probably am in the same, but it depends on the pizza. I'm that person that will eat, what's that brand here in America? Little Caesars, and go this is the most disgusting pizza in the world, but it's $5 for a whole ass pizza. So you kind of just take what you get, right? You're like, yeah, this is some of the cheapest pizza you can have on the market. I'm getting what I'm paying for. And you just kind of deal with it. Water splashes on my shorts as June rolls his pants up and sits in the pool as well. Shit, The badger looks down, almost afraid. The old June would have drenched me even more. It's strange seeing this version of him. It's okay. It's just water. Oh. And June kicks his feet a little, but not enough to make any huge ripples in the water. My eyes wander from his guilty expression down to his chest. I don't know how I want to voice this guy. He seems too small for, the Orlando/Carl voice. But, he's given me that energy, though. Confusion strikes me at how I didn't see it before, but June's old cross necklace is gone. He had been inseparable from it as a kid, so I had no idea. I have no idea how I didn't notice. Hey, what happened to your necklace? June's eyes go wide for a second before he turns to me. His gaze briefly returns to the watery abyss as he finally answers after a deep sigh. I stopped attending church after we left. Oh. An uncomfortable silence lingers between us. Not even the other's laughter helps to fill the void before left by the topic. I debate whether pressing further will help the awkward air or make it worse. Any particular reason? This time, June looks at me like I'm a different person in the room. He scratches under his beanie before getting out of the water and grabbing a towel. You don't really remember what happened that last day? None of the last week. Why? Mason bounds in on the conversation, but not before I catch a brief glimpse of what appears to be fear on June's face. Strange. Hey, what you guys talking about? Nothing. We just weren't hungry. I guess I just fucked up on that front. I make a note to myself to not talk about religion in front of June again. Well, the sun doesn't go down for a few more hours. What should we do until then? I'm about to say I want to retire for the day, but pulled myself back. I don't want to be a spoilsport on the first day we meet again. If you guys want, we could familiarize ourselves with the town a bit. Might be a good idea, actually. That way we won't run around in circles the whole time, and we can plan accordingly. We should also stock up on food while we're at it, I guess. Jake throws his hands into the air from across the pool, grab another slice of pizza. Nah, I'm cool with that. Silas just nods as he leans on one of the tables. He looks like he's about to fall asleep too. I feel kind of bad, unintentionally throwing him under the bus like that. I forgot how weak his stomach could be. He becomes alert when Mason creates a giant clap, though. The dog wraps his arm around June, almost pulling the badger off his feet. Well, I guess it's settled then. Oh. Look how sad this boy is. Look at him, just like, oh, and I'm just here. I'm just the guy. Dry off, everyone. It's time to go home. That was cheesy as fuck, man. Let him have his fun. This is the first time we've seen each other in a while. Mason, I'm going to slip. Let me go get my bag first. I want to take some pictures. I stare at the chaos unfolding before me, and I can't help but join and laugh. This is the first time on this trip that we feel like a unit. I don't have to worry about Kelsey and Jake's petty drama, Mason's unintentional clinginess, or my own anxieties. I would even say that this group is the same group of friends from all the way back in 2002. What year does this take place? Just a bit more grown up. I finally take my legs out of the water and dry them off with a towel, all the while wishing that this moment would last throughout the rest of the trip. Prologue finished! Oh, reddo. Okay. Oh, that was loud. Okay. Chapter 1, Reunion. Oh. Huh. Okay. Well, that's probably a decent place as any to end this part then. So I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.